នេះជាសាច់រឿងដ៏អស្ចារ្យមួយសម្រាប់កម្ពុជាយើងដែលយើងមានសហគ្រិនមួយរូបដែលគាត់ចាប់ផ្ដើមក្រុមហ៊ុននៅអឺរ៉ុបតែម្ដងដោយទទួលបានអាជ្ញាប័ណ្ណពិសេសក្នុងការប្រតិបត្តិការនៅសេវាកម្មហិរញ្ញវត្ថុ crypto ដែលជារឿងមួយដ៏អស្ចារ្យមែនទែនដែលមានក្រុមហ៊ុនជាច្រើនចង់បានប៉ុន្តែប្រហែលជាមិនបានទេហើយជាក្រុមហ៊ុនខ្មែរដែលខ្ញុំចាត់ទុកថាជាក្រុមហ៊ុនដំបូងដែរដែលទទួលបានអាជ្ញាប័ណ្ណនេះនៅអឺរ៉ុបអញ្ចឹងភ្ញៀវកិត្តិយសយើងថ្ងៃនេះគឺជាលោក Lim Chailin ដែលជាស្ថាបនិកនៃ startup មួយមានឈ្មោះថាក្រុមហ៊ុន Monflow ហើយចង់ដឹងថា Monflow មានលក្ខណៈពិសេសយ៉ាងណាហើយដំណើរជីវិតគាត់មានដំណើរយ៉ាងណាខ្លះពីជនអន្តោប្រវេសន៍ទៅនៅស្រុកគេបងប្អូនជនអន្តោប្រវេសន៍ដែលកិច្ចពីជំរំជនភៀសខ្លួនដែលកិច្ចពីកញ្ញាំបិសាចនៃរបប3ឆ្នាំ8ខែ20ថ្ងៃហើយបានមានឱកាសមានវាសនាទៅទ្វីបអឺរ៉ុបហើយបង្កើតបានជាអាជីវកម្មខ្មែរពិតជាអស្ចារ្យមែនទែនអញ្ចឹងចង់ដឹងថាតើគាត់មានដំណើរដើមតងសាច់រឿងយ៉ាងណាជួបគាត់អត់ទេជំរាបសួរបង
Thank you very much for inviting me here
បាទអាចឲ្យបងណែនាំខ្លួនតិចមើលឈ្មោះរបស់បងឬក៏អ្វីដែលបងកំពុងធ្វើសប្តាហ៍ថ្ងៃហ្នឹង
ឈ្មោះខ្ញុំឈ្មោះ Lim Chailin I am the founder of Monflow in 1991 we moved from a refugee camp from Chumrom Kawida we moved to Holland to the Netherlands it was there that I grew up and my parents always taught me how important it is to be financially autonomous. So to be able to always have full ownership over your own money. So they taught me that you need to work very hard, you need to be able to save money, you need to work for yourself and try to build a good future. Don't trust other people with your money. You should be in control of your own money. And this has resonated with me always, and it is with this philosophy that I built Monflow.
So what's like after Kawidang? What you do, what you study, and why you take up crypto finance or fintech as a career or as a business?
Yeah. So I was almost 5 years old when we moved from Kawidang to the Netherlands. I always loved philosophy. So since maybe the age of 12, 13, I started studying philosophy also in secondary school. Once I went to university, at the University of Amsterdam, I also studied philosophy. I also studied economics at the same time. It happened also during the financial crisis, which taught me to think more clearly about why the financial crisis happened. Maybe you still remember that a lot of banks all over the world, they were in trouble. And sometimes the government stepped in and the governments helped these banks. So that sparked a huge interest in economics, in finance. And I also felt it is really unfair because there's still a lot of banks that did not do anything wrong. They had proper balance sheets, but because the bigger banks were helped, they had, in my opinion, unfair competition. Instead of being able to use their capital to take over the bigger banks, no, the bigger banks were helped. And it is unfair if you're still small but doing good practices. So I thought of a system. What can we do technologically to make the financial system more fair? And that is when I, for the first time, heard about blockchain technology and started delving into it and dedicating my life to making the financial system more fair and transparent for the people.
After college, do you go straight into startup or you take a job?
No, so once I finished my master's in philosophy, I met an old friend of mine. And the old friend of mine, he said that, why don't you try to do something with software engineering? So I tried it myself. Oh, this is really cool. I'm able to develop things that I have in my mind. I felt really empowering. But at the same time, I also applied for a PhD in philosophy in the United States. I was accepted at the University of Chicago. I also received a Fulbright scholarship. But in the end, I decided not to go to the United States anymore because I thought it would be so cool if I can start building applications. So I started learning by myself. Eventually, I did a small traineeship of 3 months. And after the traineeship, I was allowed to work as a software engineer at an energy company in the Netherlands called Eneco. So I did not immediately go into fintech. I started with software engineering. So now we're talking about the year 2014, 2015. And around that time, new blockchain projects came up like Ethereum. And I also spent some of my spare time to look into Ethereum, to think what can I build using smart contracts, using blockchain technology. And a few years later, I decided to work for a payments company. I realized how inefficient payments is, how slow payments is, how expensive payments is. Why would we not use blockchain technology to make everything much more efficient, much faster? and that's when I finally made the step to fintech.
Is that like a moment you like? When was that? I want to build something on my own. Is that the moment?
The moment was 2018. So there was a time that I worked at the payments company called EMS, European Merchant Services. So what I did at EMS is I integrated all kinds of payment methods for merchants. So I integrated PayPal, credit cards like Visa, MasterCard, but also we have Ideal, Union Pay, and so forth. And I was so dissatisfied after working there for a year. First of all, I felt I could not learn a lot more in my role. And secondly, to see how inefficient the system is, but at the same time, I'm also using blockchain technology in my own life. It really struck with me that I need to try to change the industry. It's a shame that if I want to send money in the Netherlands to you in Cambodia, I need to pay maybe $20, $30 just for a transaction, and you receive it maybe 2-3 days later.
Yeah, it's like the service like we use some of the yellow service thing, and it's like you said, sometimes it took like the 20% or something like that, 50%. 15%, it's really high for some transaction, and it took longer back then. But right now, I think they have improved a bit. I think maybe because of the implementation of Ripple or other blockchain technology behind the scene also. So maybe you can continue the story of the moment that you think that I have to build my own thing. This is the time that I have to start.
So there were two things I thought about. One is fintech. What can I do to make payments more efficient? The second thing is social media. What can I do to allow people to have ownership over the content they create? So in Europe, there were a lot of discussions about Facebook. A lot of European governments, they did not like that Facebook had so much ownership over people's data. If you have created an account on Facebook, if you post anything, Facebook has full access to your data. And if they want, they can delete it. If they want, they can do anything with it. They can sell your data, they can earn money from it, right? I felt it was really unfair. I feel this is some kind of exploitation of the users. Instead, I wanted to build a system where you are owner of your own data. And if you want, you can share the data with Facebook or you can share it with other people, but you need to be in control. So at first, me and my brother, we decided to build Surrey. And Surrey is like social media on the blockchain, where you can have full ownership over everything you post, and no one can say, hey, this was my post. No, because it's stored on the blockchain. You can always prove that it was you who posted it. And then after I built Surrey in 2018, I came back to the Netherlands. I started teaching blockchain technology to a local university called Saxion University for finance students and economic students. And then I started also experimenting as a researcher with more fintech applications using blockchain. But it was only until 2022 that I decided to quit my job at the university and start up this new company called Montflant.
So it started after Surrey, where you started Surrey?
Yeah, it started after Surrey.
Okay, I would like to get back into Surrey a little bit.
Yeah.
Why would you come from Netherlands to Cambodia just to build Surrey? What do you see in the platform in the future of this technology in Cambodia?
Because Lem, so my brother, he lived here, and I wanted to be close to him. I also wanted to come back to Cambodia. I wanted to find my roots. I still feel at home whenever I come here, because when I come here, people look like me. They have black hair, and we have the same skin color. And the reason why I think it was important for us to build Surrey here is I think that I can see how things can go wrong in Europe when too much data is being sold to big tech. But for me, having an impact in Cambodia is easier than having an impact in Europe, right? So if I want to help to change the world, if I want to help the people, it's better for me to start in Cambodia. So that's the reason why I came. But my goal was only to help my brother to build Surrey, but after it's built, then I would move on to do other things that I was also interested in. Because I was also interested in philosophy still. I was interested in teaching. I was interested in a fintech application.
So when you work in a traditional fintech and payment integration, as you said, you work with some Europe company and integration like payment system or other thing. What key lesson that you take from that world?
What key lessons I learned from the world in payments industry?
Yeah, the world in a traditional payment, traditional banking system.
The key lessons is that costs are very high if you want to do payments because there are so many different intermediaries. So to give an example, we had a customer at EMS and he wanted to buy a private airplane from Brazil. And the private airplane, I don't remember the price, but let's say it is 500,000 USD. Right? It was a small private airplane. And he wanted to pay by credit card. And because it's such a big amount, we invite him to come to the office. And then in the office, he can do the payment. So when I asked him to do the payment, it was not processed. We received an error. I thought maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I did not integrate him well. So I looked into my code, but no, I'm not doing anything wrong. So there must be something else. So please try again. He tried again, still an error. And then I realized, wait, we as a payment service provider, we can still accept it, but Visa or MasterCard does not accept it. And then the transaction does not go through. But what if his bank, the bank of the person who sells the airplane does not accept it? Then the transaction is also rejected, right? So this person who is fully legitimate, who wants to buy an airplane, is dependent on his bank needs to accept it, Visa, MasterCard needs to accept it, the bank of the beneficiary needs to accept it. And I want to remove all of that. I want to remove all those intermediaries because it is your money. You should be in control. So I told him, imagine that you could pay with something like a stablecoin. And you could send the stablecoin directly to the person in Brazil without a bank involved, without the Visa, MasterCard involved. No one who could stop you from doing that. That would empower you. So the key lessons I learned at the payments industry is that payments is slow, very expensive, so many different intermediaries in between. And right now we have the technologies to remove these intermediaries and to allow people to do peer-to-peer transactions, which allows us to do settlements much faster, much cheaper.
When come to great new technology like blockchain or like inside blockchain we have crypto or something, there will be misconception and you might have some of the misconception as well at first start. So what are the biggest misconceptions for you to the technology at first and for the public now, do you think?
Okay. I think that there's a misconception that crypto is the same as blockchain, but these are two different things. Crypto is a currency or a token that lives on the blockchain, so it makes use of blockchain technology. The blockchain technology can be used for multiple things. For example, uses blockchain technology to store the content. And because it's stored there, you can always verify and see that it is your own content, right? So you're in control of what you post. But you can also use blockchain technologies for other things. Imagine that when I buy a phone, my purchase, the receipt, can be stored on the blockchain. And I can always use the blockchain to verify that it's really my phone. I really bought it. So that when my phone gets stolen or my phone gets damaged, I can go to an insurance company and say, hey, it is really my phone. So it can also help you to prevent insurance fraud. And like that, there's so many different applications of blockchain technology. Another strong misconception is that, it's just a trend now. It will not be adopted later on. That is really wrong. If you look at Europe, there are very strong regulations. It's very clear. United States also has very clear regulations with respect to crypto assets, also with respect to blockchain use. It is here. People cannot stop it. Something that is also a misconception is everything related to crypto is volatile. But that's not true. You have a lot of different crypto assets. You have Bitcoin, is volatile. You have Ethereum, which is volatile. But you also have something like a stablecoin. A stablecoin is a coin, a token, that is pegged to the value of, for example, USD. But we could also launch a token that is pegged to the value of the Khmer Rial. We also have the technology, by the way, to do that. So if we want, or if there are some partners in Cambodia who wants to issue their own Khmer Rial stablecoin, we can help you with that. And what is really cool is if I have a Khmer Rial stablecoin, I can send this Khmer Rial all over the world for less than a cent with 1 to 2 seconds settlement.
Wow.
So those are already 3 very important misconceptions. I can also give you another one again. that crypto is only for young people. It's not true. If you look at the Netherlands, around 25% right now, they have crypto assets. And it's not only young people anymore. People my age who are, let's say, between 35, 40 have crypto, but I also know people who are 50, 60 who also started investing in crypto assets. I don't know how it is in Cambodia, but in the Netherlands, adoption goes really, really fast.
How is the rule and regulation there? I think Europe is very strict on this kind of financial tool or new thing.
Yeah, Europe has launched new regulations. The regulations that they have adopted is called MiCA, Markets in Crypto Assets regulations. It is very well regulated. It's very clear what you can do and what you cannot do. And this also gives a lot of legitimacy to the industry. And because of this, there's also much more trust, and it allows the industry to grow bigger. Next to MiCA in Europe, you also have the Genius Act in the United States, where they have also very clear regulations in place. Hong Kong has its own regulations now, Japan. So I can see the whole world going to adopt regulations, because no matter what, the whole world is going to adopt crypto assets, stable coins on the blockchain rails.
All right, let's get into Monflow.
Yeah.
So what is Monflow, and how, like, you might say you might have provided some answer already on how you get started with Monflow, where you get that idea from.
Yeah.
So now could you explain a bit what is Monflow, and is it the same now as the idea when you first started?
Yeah, it is still the same as when I first started. But I would like to give you a little bit more context about why I started Monflow. So it was 2022. Something in the crypto space that became really, really hot, really trendy, is called decentralized finance. In other words, financial applications, financial services using blockchain technology. And I used decentralized finance to earn some money. There were so many opportunities in the space. But at the same time, my mom also had cancer. And I thought a lot about my life, about us growing up in Thailand, coming to the Netherlands, being instilled to work really, really hard to save your money, but also realized that we had so much inflation in 2022. Do you remember it was Corona time, COVID time? So a lot of inflation. In the Netherlands, we had more than 10% inflation. I don't remember exact number, maybe 12, 15%. And that is your money losing value. And it made me realize it's such a shame that people like my parents, who may not be very financially literate, who work very hard to save money, are actually losing value on their money.
Even they save up a lot and it's like losing value.
Yeah. And then I also thought, why are there so many opportunities in decentralized finance, but are those people who need it most, why are they not able to make use of these opportunities? Why is all the technology we built so difficult to understand? And because so difficult to understand, you can never get mass adoption. So that was the second trigger. And the third trigger is that why is it so difficult for people to send money from one place to another place easily? And why is it so difficult for people to earn proper interest? In the Netherlands, the interest they earned around that time was around 0.2% per year. On the savings.
Oh.
That is almost nothing.
Pretty bad.
It's really, really bad indeed. But using decentralized finance, I was able to get around 10% interest. So all of this together made me realize, okay, I need to build a technology that can help people to move money from traditional finance to blockchain finance. So with blockchain finance, I mean decentralized finance. But in order to do that, you need to build a technology that everyone understands. What is something that everyone has? What do you think? It's something that everyone has, no matter what.
Like
a bank account.
Yeah.
We all have a bank account. We know how a bank account works. You get a number, you deposit money there. Why can we not build a bank account that allows you to deposit money and the money automatically becomes a stable coin?
Why it has to become a stable coin? Could you explain this?
Okay. Because a stable coin lives on the blockchain, right? So I want money to live on the blockchain so that we can make use of the benefits of a blockchain. A benefit of blockchain, for example, transparency. If I send USD to that bank account and it immediately becomes a USD stablecoin on the blockchain, I can always use this technology to verify that my stablecoin is really, really in my account. If I put money at the regular bank, I don't know what happens to my money. Maybe they will loan it out. Probably they will loan it out with just a small fraction in reserve.
Yeah.
And they can do a lot of risky things. Maybe they use it to give all kinds of mortgages, and then people cannot pay back the mortgage, and then the bank goes bankrupt. That's very well possible. But with blockchain technology, you can make all these processes so transparent that you can always verify what is happening to your money. So that is why stablecoins is for us really important, because if you want to give people financial ownership, financial autonomy, they need to be able to verify what is happening to them. So we built the technology to allow people to have a bank account, deposit money on the bank account, and it's automatically turned into a stablecoin. In our case, because we operate in Europe, when people deposit euros, that euro automatically becomes a euro stablecoin. If you deposit 1,000 euro, you also get 1,000 stablecoin euros. No fees for you.
So that is the Monflow solution.
That is the core solution.
The core solution.
Yeah, and this solution helps us to bring as much money from traditional finance to blockchain finance. But we're not there yet, because you want people to start using that money in the blockchain space, in the blockchain finance space. So next to offering this bank account, we also have a built-in exchange. And what's special about this exchange is this exchange can look at a lot of different exchanges. So we look at more than 30 different exchanges and give you the best price from one of those 30 exchanges, so that you can buy or sell for all the crypto assets for a very good rate.
So it's more than an exchange.
It's more than an exchange. It's like a collection of exchanges, and we automatically check the prices, and we do it really fast, so that we can give you a rate in around 5 seconds.
I see.
And it refreshes every 20 seconds. It refreshes. And that is really cool, because now you give people incentive to stay in the blockchain space. They don't need to go back to traditional finance. But if they want to go back to the traditional finance, that's also possible, because with our technology, you can send your stablecoin, which lives on the blockchain, to regular bank accounts. So I can, for example, send my euro stablecoin to an ING bank or to a Rabo bank account. But if you would implement it in Cambodia, then I would be able to send a USD stablecoin to an ABA bank account or to a AC Lada bank account. That does not matter where. So we built a bridge between traditional finance and blockchain finance. If you want, you can always move from traditional to blockchain, but you can also move back from blockchain to traditional. And we don't ask any fees if you want to go back to traditional finance. So if you withdraw 1,000 USD or 1,000 euros in stablecoins to, let's say, to a regular bank account, the person also gets 1,000 USD or 1,000 euros.
The solution sound cool. Like user can exchange for stablecoin with no fee, and we can do the transaction with, I think, no fee at all. Transaction, you charge fee or not? Okay, so the transaction will not be charged, will not have fee on it.
No.
And
but for the exchange, we will charge.
Yeah, sure. But it's look like it's bad for the bank. Why the bank want to join you?
Okay.
It's like the transaction fee is one of their core business too, and you give people a chance to exchange for stable coin with no fee, and people can send money with no fee. And why would bank in Europe join you?
Okay, so if we deposit euros or if we deposit USD and it's turned into a stable coin, that fiat euro and the fiat USD that lives somewhere. In this case, it is still stored at the bank. And in the case of Europe, the bank must always keep this money, and they can only sell a tiny fraction of that for government bonds. And it must be really, really safe. Only AAA short-term government bonds. And they can earn interest on that. That is how they can earn money from partnering with us.
So we can know exactly if the money is accounted for, and we can see that if we want to like use some of the product like saving or something, we will earn some certain interest rate that is much more than traditional banking. That's what you mean?
Are you talking about the user or about the bank?
The user.
For the user, that's right. But what I just talked about is from the banking side. So, okay, let me rephrase it. Are you familiar with USDT?
Yeah.
or USDC? Okay.
Yeah.
So USDC and USDT, those are, USDC is regulated in Europe, but also regulated in the United States. USDT only in the United States, not in Europe. USDT is not allowed to operate in Europe. Okay, how they work is as follows. You send them USD, and then they use this USD as collateral for the stablecoin used. And this collateral can be used to invest in very safe government bonds. In this case, the company that issues USDC or USDT, they use it to invest in American government bonds, which gives them 4%. This is how they can earn money. Banks can take the same position. Banks can work with Monflow and say, okay, we give you the bank account number. When people deposit money there, then we can use a portion of that money to invest in United States government bonds or in European government bonds or in Cambodian governments, also possible, and earn some interest. So for them, that is the revenue model.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
But what's really interesting is that in Europe, in the past few months, a lot of European authorities and agencies, they are really afraid of USD stablecoins. And do you know why they are afraid? They are afraid because it means that every time when we make use of USD stablecoin, there is fiat USD as collateral being used also to buy US government bonds. So we in Europe, when we use USD stablecoins, are indirectly financing the American government. And Europe does not want that. So that's why Europe has issued a warning saying that we don't want people to use as much USD stablecoin. We prefer you to use Euro stablecoin. So these stablecoins are now becoming a geopolitical tool of influence. And Trump, I think, is really smart. And I think that's also why the Genius Act is really, really genius. It's because Trump is promoting the USD stablecoin all over the world. If all over the world people are using the USD stablecoin, the whole world is funding the US government.
Like USDT?
Like USDT. If we use USDT, we are indirectly funding the US government. And for them, that's really smart.
That is something new to me.
So what I thought, and something that I would really love to explore in Cambodia is, what if we help banks or other financial institutions to issue a Khmer Real stablecoin? So, for example, we can get a bank account at the Cambodian bank. When people deposit Khmer Real to the Cambodian bank, a Khmer Real stablecoin is issued for the user. But that fiat Khmer Real can be used by the bank to invest in Cambodian government bonds, meaning that that money is used to support the government, which is much better than allowing people in Cambodia to use a USD stablecoin. It's better to support our own government than supporting the US government.
Wow. So this could be a very complicated topic to non-financial or non-technical people. So when you explain Monflow for the first time to like someone, what is their reaction?
They love it. They really love it. It's so difficult for a lot of people to make use of blockchain finance. In the Netherlands, what they normally do is, first, they open an account at the centralized exchange. One that's used a lot in the Netherlands is Bitvavo or Kraken, OKX, Bybit. Not Binance anymore, because Binance is not allowed to operate in the Netherlands. They open an account, they send euros to the bank account of, let's say, Bybit. It's not their own bank account, it's the bank account of Bybit. So they need to trust Bybit there. And then they say, okay, I want to use my euros to buy, let's say, USDC or USDT. Sorry, USDT is also not allowed in Europe, so they can only buy USDC.
Yeah.
So they will buy USDC. And then they need to transfer their USDC from Bybit to their own wallet. And then from the wallet, they need to connect to a blockchain finance application like Uniswap. But in order to do that, they need to download not only that wallet that can interact with Uniswap, but they also need to manage the keys. It's so complicated.
And it's like the transaction fee is like 2 times already.
Also,
the first time exchange, and then from the exchange to the wallet, and from the wallet Uniswap.
And if you want to manage the wallet, you also get a private key or you get a seed phrase. I think that almost no one who watches this knows what the private key is. Almost no one knows what the seed phrase is. So I know a lot of people who lost access to the wallet. And because of it, they lost access to the crypto assets. It's really, really scary. Okay, and then they want to do, for example, do an exchange. But to do that exchange, they need to pay transaction costs, right? So it's fairly cumbersome. With Monflow, just a bank account, put money there, you're immediately in blockchain finance. Everyone can use it. Another reason why people like it is that in the Netherlands, if you are a business, it's really difficult to open a crypto account because yeah,
It's like they have no transaction with crypto or something?
yeah, it's somehow in the Netherlands it's very difficult to open a crypto account when you're a business. But with us, it's okay, it's fine. We allow business to also onboard. So not only individual, and especially when you're a crypto business, it's so difficult to open a bank account. So when I tried to open a bank account for Montflow, I was rejected at so many banks. I was rejected at Revolut. Revolut is one of the biggest banks in Europe. They did not want us. They said, oh, too risky. ABN AMRO, the second largest bank in the Netherlands, rejected us. Bank rejected us. So around 8 banks rejected us. And that is really, really shameful because we don't do anything illegal. We even have a license. Companies that are in the crypto space, they see so much potential in using Montflow because they see Montflow as a safe haven for them. It's a company that wants to think with them, that wants to be the financial partner, that can also understand the business. They are much more friendly to those type of businesses than regular banks.
Wow. So,
Yeah.
like type of business like Montflow, like you need many parties to be cooperating. You need the user to have to use the use services. You need the bank to trust you. So how you getting all of that?
Yeah, so you need to work with banks that are very progressive and that understand blockchain technology. That's fine. I can see that more and more banks are willing to open up and willing to cooperate. From the user side, I think selling Montflow is extremely simple. How we can sell Montflow is, do you want to have ownership over your money? Everyone says yes. Okay, then come to Montflow, because if you use Montflow, you can always see and verify that your money is really there. You don't need to trust us. If you do anything wrong with your money, you can immediately see it on the blockchain. So we can give people this feeling of trust. And another very important selling point is in the Netherlands right now, the interest rate for savings went up. It used to be 0.2%, 0.25%. Now it's around 1%. Still very low. But using blockchain finance, we can offer users around 4%. That is very, very attractive for people because in the Netherlands is one of the biggest savers in Europe. A lot of Dutch people have a lot of money in the savings account. And it's a shame that they can only earn 1%. Whereas if you go to Montflow, they can earn maybe 3-4%.
So that is one of the key point that you attracted
the
user.
Yeah. And then another very important thing is we are busy integrating a payment card as well, so that you can go everywhere and pay. So you can pay in shops physically, but you can also do online shopping using your stablecoin. And we can give you up to 4% cashback. So if you spend 100 euro, then you can get maybe 4 euro back, 2 euro back. No other bank can give this or does this. And this is all kinds of ways for us to attract users.
That's really interesting. You said about the like traditional crypto wallet. You have seed phrase. You have other kind of stuff that is technical, complicated.
Yeah.
But how Montflow is operated? While you say that you are user is the ownership of that data of your money. How do they do that safely?
Yeah.
Like you said that you remove all the technical part, like the key, the seed phrase or the 12 thing.
Yeah. Okay. So for now, when you're a user at Montflow, we issue a crypto wallet, and the crypto wallet we pack to your bank account number. So the user does not really need to know his crypto wallet, but he must know his bank account number. So for him, it feels as if he manages crypto and normal euro stablecoins with the bank account. That private key that is issued along the wallet is held by Montflow, and we have the license in Europe to do this. We have the license to be the custody of your private key, and we use the technology which is that is called multi-party computation, where your private key is cut in 3 different pieces and stored in 3 different places. So it becomes more difficult for hackers to get access to the full private. But what Montflow is also going to do in 2026 is upgrading the wallets and giving you the option. Do you want us to manage your private key, or do you want to manage the private key yourself? So we want to give you that option. And why this is important is that Some people who use Monflow, they really want to manage their own private key, but then they also need to understand the risk that if they lose the private key, they cannot have access anymore to the assets. One way for us to help them manage the private keys better is to make use of, for example, passkeys. I don't know if you know passkeys. Maybe your user also doesn't know passkeys, but there are. So what you can do, you can store the private key on your device in a secure enclave. in a secure enclave, impossible to hack. And every time when you want to log into your wallet, you just use your biometrics. Or what we can also do, we can do a recovery model where you can recover your keys using your email and your password, for example. Or I can do a recovery model using my email password. And for example, my brother needs to give me also permission to recover. So there are different ways in which we can help people to still manage their own private key and make it very, very user-friendly. So they don't need to think about the very rich string that's called a private key or the seed phrase. But that's for the users who really have the confidence they can manage it themselves.
About Cambodia, what opportunity do you see for Cambodia in the digital finance ecosystem? We have been adopting, and I think the NBC, the National Bank of Cambodia, are doing well with the KQR thing. That it's really amazing for me. And so what do you see the opportunity for Cambodia?
KHQR, Bakong, it's amazing. It's really great technologies. I can see that these technologies like Bakong is leapfrogging what we see in Europe or in the United States. The payment system in the United States is very underdeveloped. It's actually really, really bad compared to in Cambodia. What I see is I can see that more and more assets are going to become tokenized and put on the Bakong infrastructure. So tokenized gold, I think that's really going to happen. Tokenized real estate and multiple assets, maybe tokenized stocks as well. So I do believe that Cambodia has the power, because they have shown to be able to build the infrastructure of Bakong, to become one of the front runners in the blockchain space, the front runners of payments. I'm really sure of that. If I would be a regulator in Europe and if I would look at Bakong, I would be jealous. I would be, oh wow, it's a country that's so small, still developing, has leapfrogged us. I really believe that the digital asset space in Cambodia has so much potential.
All right, so there's been quite very fruitful talk. I think you have many background in the philosophy too, as you study philosophy in university. So what is your personal philosophy about money?
Philosophy about money. For me, money is not as important as finding meaning in life. What I find really important is to do something that keeps me alive, that drives me forward. Money for me is just a means to achieve things. But the things that you want to achieve is what gives you meaning. And a lot of people, I think, especially young people, they don't stand still enough with this. They don't reflect enough on this. Is that if you only chase money, life is so empty, right? I do know some very rich people, and I do know some billionaires. And what are they worried about? They're worried about losing money. So first, you want to have money. If you have money, you're worried about losing money. You're thinking about what can I do to get more money. No, that's not how I want to live. How I want to live is to see money just as a means to achieve ends, and those ends should serve the goals that give me more meaning. That is in short what my philosophy of money is.
So could you share some of the habit or system that you have been using to keep you productive? Since it's hard to work in a project like a startup that you're not making money now because you are pre-revenue or something like that. Yes. How do you keep yourself productive? How do you keep going? Like you might answer some back then about the motivation, but maybe you could share the habit and the system.
So I have certain habits that I think really helps me in my work. I don't believe in work-life balance. I know a lot of people in Europe, they say, no, you need to have a work-life balance. You need to work 4 days a week. Don't spend too much time on your work. Also spend time on your own stuff. I said, no, I have a mission in my life. My mission is to provide financial sovereignty to everyone. So first, if you build a startup like Monflow, you need to spend so much time. You need to be able to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week. What can you do to still keep your sanity while you work so many hours? You need to do sports. I think it's really important to be healthy. You need to eat well because that keeps your mind sharp. At the same time, you also need to have some kind of structure in your daily work. In the morning when I wake up, I look at my emails and I'm like, okay, these are the things I want to achieve. These are the emails I want to be able to respond now. And then I work on what is most important or to least important. And most of the times working like this, the most important things are already finished within the morning. And then in the afternoon, I can spend more time talking to the developers, talking to the marketing team, and then help them to think through problems. Something else that you also need to have, I think, to survive a startup like Monflow is to enjoy troubleshooting, enjoy solving problems. And I'm a person who likes solving problems. It's like, for me, it's like having puzzles and then being able to fit all the puzzle pieces together, and somehow it drives. What's also important, I think, and this is very underestimated, you need to have a personality that is likable.
What do you mean likable?
You need to have a personality that people are willing to help you. You're dealing with problems, and those problems cannot always be solved by you yourself. What are you going to do? You cannot continuously working by yourself trying to solve the problem. No, you need to find help. Sometimes, or most of the times, it's your team members. But sometimes the problem is so big that you need to find other people. So you need to be able to look outside of your company. You need to be able to contact people. Say, hey, I have a problem. Would you mind to have lunch with me together? I don't know. I just want to tell you the problem I have. And just talk it through with someone else. This is so underestimated. You need to have a personality that allows you to attract other people that want to help you. If you want to grow, you cannot grow by yourself. You need to use your own network.
All right, thank you very much. So this is a very last question.
Yeah.
For Monflow, like you're now getting the license to operate in Europe and to Cambodia came up in your timeline, like
I really love this. One of the reasons why I'm here is because I want to explore the ecosystem in Cambodia. I want to talk to a lot of financial institutions, a lot to banks, and to find partnerships. I know that in Cambodia, the Stablecoin Act has not been adopted yet. It has not been released yet. But I do believe that a lot of financial institutions are already starting to prepare for it. If you can be the first in the country, I think you have a huge competitive edge. So also for your readers, if you are for your viewers, if you work for a financial institution, you want to contact me, please do so. If you want to issue your own Khmer Real stablecoin, we can really help the financial institution to do that. We have all the technology, and by doing so, you can even help the nation. Right? And I feel I'm Khmer, and I'm also here because I want to help the people. I'm so proud of what Bakong did. I'm so proud to see that the Western countries are jealous of what Cambodia was able to achieve. And I think we can take it a step further. And Monflow is here to help the Cambodian people more.
អរគុណបងអរគុណសម្រាប់ការចំណាយពេលវេលាអញ្ចឹងអរគុណបងប្អូនអរគ្នាសម្រាប់ការតាមដានទស្សនាវីដេអូនេះហើយបើសិនជាចង់ដឹងពី Monflow បន្ថែមអាចចូលទៅកាន់ website របស់គាត់បានដែលខ្ញុំដាក់នៅក្នុង description នេះអញ្ចឹងពីខ្ញុំបាទសក្តាហើយបងឆៃលីនជម្រាបលាហើយអរគុណអ្នកនរគ្នាដែលបានទស្សនា